Okay, so we have some more topics for this day. We have smartphone hazards, Unity Small Finance Bank, and Agri Food Systems, POSH guidelines. So these all are the things. So okay, first we'll go with the smartphone hazards. That what all are hazards that smartphone carries. So here, if you go for it is related to the technology aspect because it is related to the science and technology and it is related to the GS paper 3. So if we talk about what is the manufacturing, transportation and tech corporations that have been identified as a primary contributors to the global warming crisis, it is also the uses of the smartphone has created both socio and economic impact on the planet. What makes the smartphone more vulnerable? That is basically smartphones that are discarded after an average of 2 years, despite being operational. Usually people do such. Now the energy that is used to build a single smartphone that is equal to the energy that is required to operate it for a decade. But usually people what they do? They discard it after 2 years. So the recent report that is published by MC Master University that suggested that there is a high carbon emission for the manufacturing of this device. Now the smartphone that has less recycling rate, that is about 1% only. Now this makes the smartphone is the most damaging among information and communication technology devices. So here what we all the possible impacts which we can be happened. So here they create a huge impact on the both that is the physical and social well-being on the planet. Also gold mining for the tech industry is a major cause of deforestation. So there's a gold mining that has to be done for the tech industry. Also, it also leads to the depletion of natural CO2 sinks in the forest. So it is also found that 85 to 95% of the carbon emission during these 2 years that is correspondent to the manufacturing phase. Now the production of lithium ion batteries to fuel smartphone that requires a large amount of water. So water that required to produce lithium ion battery for smartphone. So here currently we know that ABC, that is Argentina, Chile and Bolivia, that are facing high water crisis because they have a large lithium ion batteries in these countries and high water evaporation for obtaining these batteries. So we also need to remember this fact that ABC, that is Argentina, Bolivia and Chile, that are lithium ion battery where we can found lithium ion battery more. Now we have a topic that what all are the challenges in recycling. First thing is that frequent phase purchases of smartphone that lead to less reuse. Usually what happens like Apple, you know, 12 Pro and then 13, then further it's going on and on. So people tends to buy another product because when they purchase it after 6 months new technology has come up and they need to switch to the another technology. That is a basic reason that for the people for these people tend to use less of these products. Now the disregarded smartphone that adds to e-waste has been generated and it affects the groundwater. Now the mercury and cyanide byproducts that further contaminated local water bodies. Further, local water body has been affected. Now, what lies the solution? Now, there are other impacts like variety of adverse environmental effects such as melting of the polar regions, wildfire, droughts, and rising sea levels. So, these all are the solutions. So, no impact we have that is on environment, melting of polar regions, wildfire, drought and rising sea levels. So these all are the impacts. So it is henceforth important for a global initiative toward e-waste management policy has to be done for smartphones and initiative has to be taken by all countries. Now we have other topic that is related to Unity Small Finance Banks. It is also related to GS paper 3, that is economic development. Now the Reserve Bank of India that issued a small finance bank license to a consortium of fintech company that is Bharat Pay and Centrum Centrum Financial Services Limited. Now, the new business entity, that is Unity Small Finance Bank, that will merge Centrum's MSME and microfinance businesses. Now, why there is a need to set up small finance bank? It is basically the need of small finance bank is basically the non-banking financial companies that is collaborating with fintech companies to access and monetize the data collected by the consumer tech firms. It basically aims to expand the business into bank sector. Also, the collaboration of Centrum and BharatPay presented an opportunity basically for the two entities in the banking sector. Now, what all other possible advantages can be done through this? So it basically aims to promote the expanding of digital infrastructure and market requirement for digital products, and also people will tend to buy from these banks, so they may not get into the trap of the high interest rate that is charged by the merchants. Also, the collaboration aims to access and monetize the data collected by these consumer tech firms. It will also assess the creditworthiness of an existing customer and present it to the lender as a potential borrower. Now, what is the market opportunity if we talk about? It is the fastest growing online payment option with its market share that is growing from 3% now to 9% in 2024. Now in India, they are highly prevalent on e-commerce, grocery and food delivery platforms. So these include Pay You Run, Lazy Pay, Simple Just Money, Amazon Pay. So payment options with the 3% now. So this is the major sources. Okay. Go with the agri-food systems. It is basically the health of the country's agri-food system that determines the health of its people. Now, the agri-food system that needs a transformative change for better production, nutrition, environment and life. Now, background is that is basically the agri-food systems are the most important part of the Indian economy. Now, the India that produces sufficient food, feed and fiber to sustain about 18% of the world's population as of 2020. So India is basically can do so. Now, finding from the survey, that is the National Family Health Survey, that suggested that nutrition related indicators have worsened in most states. Now the survey that covers 17 states and 5 union territories which are comprised of 54% of India's population. Now the comprehensive national nutritional survey that has highlighted the role of the micronutrients and malnutrition. Now required measures is basically the agri-food system that needs to be reoriented to enhance farms' incomes and also to ensure better access to safe and nutritious foods. Now, the nutritional security that has to be achieved, thereby improving dietary diversity and reducing post harvest losses. Now, the enforcement of standards and regulation, that is improvement of water, sanitation and hygiene, that is also provide a safety net to nutritional security. Now the complex problem of malnutrition that has to be addressed here, the agriculture system has to be made diverse to increase its ability to observe shocks. Now the different combinations of integrated crop, livestock, forestry, fishery systems that can help farmer to produce a variety of products. Challenges, what all are the challenges that farmers are facing now? That COVID-19 that has exacerbated the nutrition issue and the climate change impact and the agricultural production itself. Now the agri-food system that face unprecedented challenges that is related to economy and ecological sustainability. Now the India's biosecurity that remains vulnerable to disasters and extreme events. That is way forward is FAO support, that is farmer agriculture support, that is support from the transformation of agri-food system, is rooted to agroecology that has to be embarrassed. Now the sustainable agri-food system that has to be ensured to combat environmental degradation or climate change. Now go with the another topic, that is POSH guidelines. Now the Bombay High Court that has a recent judgment that prohibits the disclosure of the identity of the victims, that accused and witnesses. So the Bombay High Court has in a judgment that prohibit the don't disclose the identity of the victims. I don't think this is a good judgment. Now check out the judgment. It aims to basically protect the identities of those that involved in POSH. Okay, so basically the victims. Okay, that is victim but not the violator. Okay. It is also mandates that in all such court hearing that to be held in a camera or in judge's chamber. Now the court orders and judgment that will also not be delivered in open court. Okay, that could even enhance the more cases. Parties to the POSH trials are prohibited from disclosing any information related to such trials, that including the final judgment, okay, to the media, or they are also prohibited from publicizing the same with their social media that without securing the court permission. So the lawyer that can access these judgments only through a court order. Okay, lawyers basically need earlier cases judgment for the reference, so they can do so, but after the court order. Now further, the judgment and POSH cases that will no longer be punishable, published or uploaded for public consumption without permission of the court. Now the POSH, that is sexual harassment of women at workplace, that is Prevention of Prohibition and Redressal Act 2013, that is mandate that the government and the private organization that redress complaints of sexual harassment at the workplace. Now this act allows publication of the justice that secured to a victim, which might also be revealed by every organization. It aims to promote knowledge among the public, know about the nature of an action, and that is taken by employer against those who indulge in sexual harassment. Critics, if what all are the critics, they say is that it will potentially result in habitual offender behind the crime as their identity is not revealed. That can be happened. Now this black blanket prevents the public from learning about the actions of powerful employers accused of protecting perpetrators. Okay, so the restricting access to such information that goes against the transparency and accountability in the judicial processes. Also, these guidelines that prevent access to the information that would otherwise assist in better resolution of sexual harassment complaints by a lawyer. So these court judgments would affect silencing the voice of victim in the future. That can be mentioned. Okay, if we talk about the China-Taiwan issue that has occurred recently, it is related to international relations, and we know the tensions between the China and Taiwan that have escalated since when China observed its national day to mark the birth of People's Republic of China, that is Taiwan. Here, China flew over 100 fighter jets into the Taiwan's air defense identification zone, that setting an alarm that it was preparing to take over the island by force. Now Taiwan, that is Formosa, is a tiny island that is off the east coast of China, and the island is located in the east of China Sea, and to the northeast of the Hong Kong, and north of the Philippines, and south of the South Korea, and southwest of Japan. Now Taiwan, that observes 10 October as its national day since 19 11. On this day, the Manchu army that rose a rebel that leading ultimately to the overthrow of the Qing dynasty and the end of the monarchy in 2020. What has happened? That is Kuomintang party that was formed. Dr. Sun Yat-sen, that the son was succeeded by General Chiang Kai-shek, that who is against Chinese communist. That led the civil war ended on victory for the communist and retreat of Chiang and KMT to the Taiwan. Now the current issue is the Taiwan proximity with the US has created contentions for China. Recent US China relations over COVID trade have worsened the situation. So, here in October 2020, that President uh, Xi triggered an alarm in Taiwan by asking the PLS to prepare for the war. Now, this has further worsened the situation between the countries. Implications for India is that India and Taiwan currently maintain trade and cultural exchange offers in each other countries. So India is already facing a problem in LAC, which implies India. So India's robust relation with the Taiwan, this may also affect its relation with the China in future. So this is all for today. Thank you.